Hello. Today we're going to talk about the Frost Nova Sorceress. I haven't made a video about Sorceress yet, and I think this is a pretty popular class where a lot of people also like starting the season with her. This is technically the first character I've made this season, but I only made her for the race 1099, so I didn't think about talking about her till now. Anyway,
Not in town.
Sorceress are very important for especially early game, since they can farm, they can teleport very easily, and yeah, they're pretty important class, and a lot of people end up making at least one Sorceress. I personally like making cold and fire Sorceress more than lightning. I never really liked the lightning tree, even though it's probably one of the better ones early on, because it can farm LOD without needing an infinity for lowering resistances, even though they benefit from it a lot. So yeah, I like talking about fire and cold ones, and so if you're looking for lightning, I'm sorry, not the guy. Anyway, Frost Nova out of the cold tree, I think this season is probably one of the better cold sorceress towards the end game. Frozen Orb is not bad, and Ice Barrage is really good, I think. Blizzard gets a little slow towards the end, but Frost Nova is pretty solid, I think, from the start. Not too bad at all. So this is why I chose Frost Nova this season. And technically, the strengths of Frost Nova in terms of Sorceress is more in mapping. It's one of the better Sorceress mappers, in my opinion. It's not the best for LOD farming. And boss farming, you could probably do much better with something like Frozen Orb or Blizzard from the Cold Tree, or Chain Lightning, Nova Lightning, or Meteor. They're all really good at doing LOD, but it can do all these things too. So, why do you make a Frost Nova Sorceress? So one, if you want to farm LOD, like Chaos Sanctuary for Primeval Souls, or going to Mephisto. You can farm. Doing Wallstone is probably not the best. She's not the best for that, because there are some immunes there that are a little annoying. And you can farm portals, red portals for demonic insignias with her. So I'll show some of these things soon. But first, let's talk about the overview, the skills, and whatnot. There are two approaches you can take to making a Frost Nova Sorceress. One is my approach, the other is the energy shield approach. Generally speaking, energy shield is really popular because it means you don't have to put as much into your resistances, and it lets you play very safe, only compromising a little bit on damage, which for many people is very appealing. And yeah, if that is what you're looking to do, that's awesome. I tend to just like more damage, so that's why I end up doing. Let me pull up the planner, and let's get into business. As a sorceress, if you're leveling as a Frost Nova Sorceress, you get access to your skills pretty early. Frost Nova gains synergies from Ice Bolt and Shiver Armor, so already very early on you can max the skills that you want to use. You'll probably put always 1 point into Warmth and 1 point into Telekinesis, so you can gain access to Teleport eventually. But generally speaking, you'll have a point in Cold Enchant as a prereq. You'll put points into Ice Bolt and into Frost Nova. Whenever you can, you'll pick up your point into Ice Blast and Shiver Armor. And at level 18, of course, the very important point into Teleport. You'll keep maxing your Frost Nova, and at level 30, you'll want that Cold Mastery as well. You can finish this, then start working on your Cold Mastery till it's done. And by the time that you get into End of Hell area, let me get my quest complete as well. You'll see that you already have points. Wait, no, okay. Yeah. By the time you get into End of Hell area, this is level 74, which is pretty normal, unless you're getting glitched through or something. So normally you'll already have the skills you want maxed, which is pretty nice and comfortable. And then you can either choose to put points towards Energy Shield if you want to play that more defensive aspect, or you can choose to maximize your Teleport. The reason to level up your Teleport is that you'll see that you get minus damage when you teleport for 1 second, and that minus damage for some builds is more important, for some builds it's less important. For Frost Nova it is very important. You'll see with the way that Frost Nova is being played, you pretty much teleport, attack really fast, and teleport again, so you'll be teleporting a lot. So the more points you can have into teleport, to reduce that damage, the better. After having all these points, you can choose to do all sorts of things. I personally like upgrading Frozen Orb, just because Frozen Orb is like just like having like that point in Frozen Orb is really, really nice. It's gonna be pretty strong even at level 1 with all of your synergies. And yeah, that actually just really helps cleaning some bosses. It's a bit better than killing them with your Frost Nova. Like a little bit faster, also a little bit safer sometimes. So you can consider that as like an option. You can put points into Energy Shield. Whatever you find good is like what you should go for, pretty much. But these are like the approaches that I think people go for. Some people may upgrade Cold Enchant just to make like Shiver Armor better and maybe their team better. That's also perfectly fine. Anyway, as far as attributes go, you use Strength and Dexterity based on whatever you need for your items. And here we have another crossroads based on the weapon you choose. If you're going for a Medusa and a Death Fathoms, I think I have a Death Fathom here. Okay, yeah, a Death Fathom with a Medusa. Let me show this. I haven't talked about gear yet, but if you are using a shield, here, a Medusa's. I don't think I have a Death Fathoms here anywhere. But yeah, if you're using a shield like Medusa or whatever other shield that you're using, you will want to maximize your like block chances. You don't want to like carry around a Medusa and not block. But otherwise, you'll dump the rest into Vitality. If you are going with Energy Shield, you will dump the rest into Energy or have a healthy mix of whatever you need. With that said, let's talk a little bit about the gear. So basically, in terms of endgame, again, there are 3 approaches. You can either go with something that maximizes your Energy Shield. Skull Collector is really nice for that. I think I prepped that too, just to show what it is, because I don't think I have one. Yeah, so the Skull Collector can give you quite a bit of faster cast rate, and it can proc Bone Armor on casting, which is really, really nice for safety. Gives a ton of mana after each kill, which means, again, you'll be very safe. It only gives 2 to 3 all skills, but also helps you a lot with magic finding, which is really nice, and increase maximum mana, again, making your Bone Armor and your Energy Shield much better. So that kind of like very fits that approach, and also lets you MF really well. I personally like the Mang Song. The reason I like Mang Song is, one, it casts slower resist, which is awesome. There's a ton of faster cast rate, which if you're aiming for the highest breakpoint, which is 200, makes it way easier to get, and also has like reduced like enemy resistances, which helps you kind of like you know, just kill faster, which is generally my approach. I like killing fast. I like going fast. I don't do content that is too hard with the Sorceress anyway. Like, you clear a lot of tier 1, tier 2 maps and do like fast like kills in LD. I don't think you need that much safety. As long as you teleport correctly, you'll be okay. So that's why I go with this approach. And yeah, based on that, you'll either put Strength, Dex, Vitality, and Energy. We're already kind of talking about gear, so let me get into it. My endgame gear consists of a Mang Song, Akira's Guardian, an Ormus Robe, a Mage Fist, a Rax, 2 +1 rings, 1 with faster cast rate and 1 with life after each kill, a Blood Amulet with cold skills, faster cast rate, all resistances, and a lot of life after each kill, and Silk Weave. And now let's talk about what you can do alternatives with, what's like early game gear, and yeah, everything that you need to know. So generally speaking, for the Mang Song, we said you could use a Skull Collector, you could use a Death Fathoms and a Medusa combo. Very, very popular, very safe as well, very comfortable to use. None of them are weak, all of them are strong, don't worry about it. This build doesn't struggle with dealing damage at all, so yeah, it's like whatever you feel comfortable with or whatever you end up getting your hands on is perfectly fine. For early game gear, in terms of weapons, like you could use a Wizard Spike and a Lidless Shield or a Spirit Shield. Whatever shield you find, like a Gurkhas, is also okay. Wizard Spike is a good start. It's what we happened to find one at the beginning of the season, so I just kind of kept it because it carried me through the early game. It's an amazing weapon, 50 faster cast rate, give you 75 all res. You can't really ask for anything more than a Wizard Spike early on. Definitely an amazing option. After that, you'll probably want to upgrade into something like the Oculus, which again, I do not think I have one. Did I prep a page for that? I did. Let me show you what the Oculus is. It has a chance to cast level 1 teleport when struck, meaning it will randomly teleport you sometimes on like a really small chance, 1 out of 50. teleport you to somewhere random. It's a bit uncomfortable. It's like a downside. It's not a cool thing. But it does give you skills, faster cast rate, all resistances, mana after each kill, and some magic find. So very, very nice starter. Again, very, very good if you're looking to farm act bosses. I think early on, if you can find this in farm like Andy or Mephisto, this could be a really nice staff, because like teleporting there is like not as crazy as getting teleported in a map into like a huge pack or something. So this is definitely a solid staff to start with. These are kind of like the things that I think you should be looking for in terms of weapons. In terms of shields, we talked about the Medusa. That's the shield you want to look for if you are using a shield. Otherwise, like a lidless shield, I don't think I have an extra one. Oh, here. A lidless shield is fine, gives you mana after each kill, skills, faster cast rate. Ergericus is okay. I don't have one, but it's like not too important. Or just like the Rune Ward Spirit if you're just starting. For helmets, the most popular one is actually Nightwings. I know a lot of people love Nightwings. It is really, really strong. And if you are using Nightwings, usually you'll pair it with a Snow Clash. The thing is, for 200 FCR, using a Snow Clash is pretty difficult without sacrificing a lot of damage. And that's why I use the Arax, the Arachnid Mesh, which gives +1 skills and up to like 30 faster cast rate with the right slam. If you're not using Arax, if you're not gunning for this 200 FCR breakpoint, you're just doing 105, I definitely recommend the Nightwings and the Snow Clash. Snow Clash can give you 2 to skills, 2 to cold skills at least, not to all skills. So both are okay. This combination also kind of helps with the no energy shield because it gives you a lot of res, 37 all res here, up to 40. So overall, this is why I chose Kira's and Arax over Nightwing and Snow Clash, but both combinations are great. For the armor, you're definitely using Ormus Robe. There is no debate on Ormus. Ormus is what you want to use. You can technically use, of course, other armors early on, like Kate Hagen. You can use Atmas. You can use Scalders. Like, all of them are okay. If we're talking about maximizing your damage output and like your efficiency, Ormus is probably the way to go. Socket it with cold facets, the same by the way with the Kiras. And with the Mangsong, they're all socketed with cold facets. You don't really need other jewels. So yeah, but you can use like life after each kill or mana after each kill jewels if you need them, or res with Anyway, yeah, so these are the things you're looking to use. There are alternatives. You can use a Shaco early on if you need it, or like a Circlet. It's fine, but Kira's and Nightwings is the way for Helm. Ormus is the way for the Robe. For gloves, generally using Mage Fist is good because it has low strength requirement, but using the Occultist is also fine. Like, you can definitely get by with it. So, wait, give me one moment. Okay. I feel like something got disconnected here. Anyway, using the Occultist gloves is also okay. They just have higher strength requirements, so if you are using them, you'll lose some health or some mana. So it's up to you. Mage Fists are perfectly fine. If you have enough faster cast rate, you can always use FCR Drax for more life after each kill. That's also perfectly fine. For boots, Silkweave are just like pretty unbeatable. You can use some rare boots with a ton of res, or using like Marowak with like life or mana after each kill if you need the Cannot Be Frozen mod. That's also okay. Half freeze duration boots with like a Nightwings, also like a nice pick. Generally, you can get all sorts of things with them with the right slam as well. So these are kind of like the things you'd be looking for on your boot slot. And for rings, +1 scale rings are kind of what you want with either faster cast rate, life or mana after each kill, or if you can spare like magic find or physical damage reduction. They're all good mods that you can have. Just mostly depends on your setup and whatever breakpoint you're aiming to reach. For amulet, I really recommend the blood amulet. If you take my approach, you're looking for skills, faster cast rate, res, and life after each kill. You see that mine has 8 life after each kill, which is a ton, and it really helps me keep up my sustain. I really enjoy this kind of amulet approach. Most people will prefer like caster amulets, probably looking for like 3 or 4 plus skills with 10 to 20 FCR, which are also amazing amulets. Nothing against them. Another example is like I had this one, which is 3 to all skills, or 1 to all skills, 2 to sorcerer skills, faster cast rate, and 5 life after each kill. Doesn't have that all res, which I kind of like about this one, so I ended up using this over this one, but both are okay. If you are just starting, using a crescent moon or using like a random Mara's is perfectly fine. They're both really, really good, and you shouldn't be worried if that's what you have at the moment. Alright, so that's the gear. On the switch, we got this Call to Arms and Lidless Shield to buff the Call to Arms. Whatever you can spare, like the bonus health from the battle orders is not huge for you. It's not like a game changer, so you don't really have to work on getting like a perfect one. I think it's like okay to just use a whatever one, but if you like rolling that perfect one, nothing wrong with that. For charms, we of course use the Hellfire Torch, the Annihilus. I use a 2-skill one with like solid res. You can use like a res one if you need more res. You can use like experience one, whatever. Doesn't matter too much. We have a pretty solid torch here. And for charms, I use small charms with 5-hour res and faster hit recovery. And this is kind of like the time to mention. I personally like being at least at the 60 FHR breakpoint on the Sorceress. Teleport around it to big packs. If you want to be safe and not get stuck into FHR and like cut out of a teleport, then 60 is at least where you want to be, in my opinion. 42 is okay. 30 is already pretty bad. You can definitely get sniped if you're at 30. 86 is pretty good too. I tried it, I just didn't feel like a huge difference, so I ended up sticking to the 60 breakpoint. Another reason why key res is really nice is it gives 20 FHR, so another bonus for key res. Onwards, we move to the Grand Charms, and these are just all skillers with life and a bunch of faster hit recovery. These are pretty expensive, but you can definitely get them especially if you start early on the Sorceress. I think I tried using some large charms before to see if they can do more damage, but it ended up being like definitely in favor of using skillers, so that's what I ended up doing. It also buffs your Shiver armor, which is really nice because yeah, getting more of that defense on this orc. You see I'm starting with 876, and after show me getting buffed, right, we go up to 5k. Definitely helps with like the getting hit chance. It is really nice if you wear like heavier armors, which is an option. You don't have to go with Ormus if you like more defense, like a Skulders could give you a ton of armor. Then you can definitely buff this up for quite a bit, over 10k, which already makes you pretty tanky. Okay, so we kind of talk about the overview, the skills, the charms, the attributes, the different approaches. Let's show a little bit of what the Sorceress kind of wants to do. Like one of the first things that you want to do kind of as a Sorceress is like farming materials. So for example, you could go to an area like here and, oh wow, this is like really loud volume. Pretend like I didn't teleport into the wall just now. So yeah, you can kind of like, this is why I like this fast breakpoint for teleporting. You can see how smooth and fast it is, which is really nice. Yeah, and look for these red portals. The reason you're looking for them is because killing monsters in here has a chance to drop a demonic insignia, and these sell for like normally 0.5 at the start of the season. I think right now they sell for like 0.75. I don't know why my health is so low, by the way. Let's pretend like it was okay the entire time. And yeah, you can go around here, get some kills. Personally, as a cold sorceress, I like the portal in Area Plateau. But all portals have a chance to spawn something that's cold immune. I just think here there's the least amount of monsters that are cold immune, with just like the moon. I forget their name. There's like Moon Horde or something like that. Moon Cult, cow-like things, or Minotaur-like things. So yeah, you kill monsters here. There's a super chest. You can like drop nice things from it. You can get like high runes from this area as well. Farming is pretty good. It lets you get demonic insignias used for Lucian. It's this thing. Okay, I farmed a little bit of insignias today, and yeah, it was pretty nice. You can of course kill act bosses. I meant to go here. And again, it's also really fast. If this is here, then The other one's here, right? Yeah. So you can pretty easily go here, and this is where I like things like Frozen Orb. You see that Frozen Orb melts this boss, even though I only have like a couple points into it, already does a ton of damage. That's because it kind of shares synergies with the things you already level up, Frost Nova and Ice Bolt. So Frozen Orb, just a few points, already does a lot of damage. Lets you kind of melt bosses. Going into, I mean, who wouldn't take a Skull Shrine? So yeah, if you're farming Chaos Sanctuary, there's only one thing that's kind of like slowing you down, which is pretty much the Lord Decides, since they're cold immune. You cannot break their immunity. But you can kind of let your Mercenary do it. And I guess I haven't talked about my Mercenary yet, because I always forget about my Mercenaries. I take them for granted. It's my bad. So yeah, you can kind of like let him take the kill. You just have to make sure that he's actually attacking Lord Decides. I don't know if you already killed him. Is that Lord Decides? Okay, he probably killed him. I just didn't notice. It's good that I came here to do this, because now I remember I need to talk about my Mercenary. So do this. Yeah, he died. Yeah, you can see it's like here. Yeah, not even death. Even with a few points I have into Frozen Orb, like Diablo dies pretty fast, so it is pretty nice overall. Speaking of the Merc that was doing his very important job, the setup I like is the Innocence Ferocity setup. It's an amazing setup. You don't have to do it. A lot of other options are very good as well. Giving him a Fortitude and like a Crown of Ages or an Andes are also really, really strong options. For gloves, Drax and String of Ears are classics. You can use the Nazgul if you want to give him a little bit more attack speed. And he has Gore Riders with Magic Find just because why not? Let him do a little bit more damage. For weapon, there is no discussion. Infinity is the weapon you need. You need to break immunities on monsters and to also reduce their defenses. And reduce their resistances. So Infinity is the weapon to go. Early on, you can use an Insight, either on an Act 4 and Act 2 Merc. Act 2 Merc is kind of better because of the Defiance. You really enjoy that extra defense. It really helps you out. And yeah, that's pretty much it for like the Mercenary. That's like what I like doing. You can use other boots like Sandstorm Tracks to give him more faster hit recovery, of course. Gillen's if you want also faster hit recovery. There's all sorts of combinations, but this is what I ended up doing as like pretty much the end game you're looking for, in my opinion. That said, let's do a quick map just to show like the strength of F Nova compared to other Sorcs that mostly are like fast like farming mats. Frost Nova, despite being fast at all these things, she also is very good at clearing maps. And yeah, we'll do our little buff and classic use like Sewers. Sewers is my favorite map personally. This one is Dark Lords. Apparently I rolled one with Dark Lords and I didn't notice. So there'll be a lot of cold immune stuff here. But you can clear a lot of maps. Like personally, I really like running her at like Ancestral Trials. That was like a really easy way for me to gain currency. Ancestral Trials has a lot of ghosts in it, and a sigil. Sigils are really valuable right now, so actually bother picking them up. So yeah, you can use her to clear pretty fast. You can see that I'm just like kind of jumping, teleporting. With my approach, you don't need to be too careful with how you're teleporting, but you could be if you want to. But you can see it's like a teleport, a couple of like procs from Ormus, a couple of hits on your Frost Nova. If you see anything that is too fat for you to kill, then you can just like either skip it or go for a frozen orb to clear it. Up to you, whatever you prefer. But as you can see, it's like pretty clean. I'm not like using juves or anything. Like you're never really in danger as long as you keep up your pace. You can pick up more things if you like. Like nothing wrong with that. If you are going for this kind of like high FCR, there is like the kind of like the negative of not having that much magic find. So for people who like Magic Find more, there's nothing wrong with like dropping one breakpoint and going with like high Magic Find. You'll be still very efficient. Like that one extra breakpoint is not actually the make or break. I just like being very fast. And somebody just followed me apparently on my Twitch, which is it's a reminder to all of you guys to also do it. If you want to interrupt my videos randomly, whoever that was, thank you for following, I guess. Despite the timing. Here, we got a Gates event. Maybe we get something cool for the video. An amulet, right? That could be something cool. We got a Knuckle Relic. Let's sell it. Maybe a Gore Riders. No, that's a Tier Haunch. Maybe a Steel Rend. No, that's pretty bad. Pair of... Yeah. So this was quite the scammer guides. Normal stuff. Honestly. I'll check later who followed me and say their name for the video. But as you can see, like, we go about pretty fast. We're not really too worried about monster packs. We self-sustain very well. If you can't reach like that much life after each kill, it's kind of fine. You only need like between 10 to 12 on this character in my experience. I just happen to have a little bit more at 14 because of my amulet. But yeah, overall, you can get this character going pretty cheaply. I'm not even using like 5/5 facets or anything. You can use a lot of like 5 damage minus 3 to resistances. You have a lot of like Pierce already from your Cold Mastery. And Kira's is not that expensive compared to Nightwings at least. My Mang Song is not like a 6-socket Mang Song. I use like a faster cast rate Mang Song. Technically I dropped it, so it didn't cost me anything, but you can get a lot of these faster cast rate Mang Songs for cheaper. And you box it for 4, even if you box it for free, it would still be pretty strong. Rex is kind of like the more expensive part of this, but you can use like a 20 FCR ring instead of like an Rex and a skill ring. So there's a lot of like cheap workarounds to my gear that let you do kind of very similar results. But yeah, don't worry too much about the price. The main thing for Sorceress, as always, is like getting that first Infinity, which you usually do by farming act bosses. On Frost, like usually you'd farm like Andy. That's like what I'd recommend early. Andy and Cows can kind of get you going. You can farm Chaos Sanctuary technically and kind of like ignore Lord of Size early. It's kind of okay, it's not terrible, but you are pretty fragile early on, so I personally prefer farming Andes, so it's a little bit easier. Or you can farm like a Nightmare, Mephisto, Nightmare, Chaos as well, and you can start getting some items there if you feel like you're still kind of behind on your gear. Alright, so this is pretty much the map. It took us like 4-something minutes. I was yapping a little bit, and there were a lot of cold immunes because I rolled like a pretty bad map and I didn't look as Vampire Lords. But like, let's pretend like that didn't happen, okay? Let's pretend like I didn't do that. Anyway, let's check who followed us to give them the important recognition. Dippindave12, thank you for the follow. Yeah, with that said, this is the Frost Nova. I think it's really strong. You can see it's pretty speedy in the maps. Like, you can run tier 3 maps in like 5 to 6 minutes. Tier 1 maps at like 3 to 5 minutes, depending on your yapping speed. And tier 2 maps also like 4 or 5 minutes. If you go at it fast, or if they're like long maps like Ancestral, then maybe it's like 5 to 6 minutes. But overall, really nice class. Very smooth to map with. Can do materials very fast, as you saw. And while it is like pretty expensive for the high-end gear, you can get it going pretty early with simple stuff like a Wizard Spike and like I don't know, a Shaco. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed this guide. I'll link my armory in the description, and I'll also link my Twitch channel because I know all of you really want to do what Dippindave did a few minutes ago. So with that said, I'll see you in the next video, and bye.